Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us for a very special OPA CPD series. The Future is Now, celebrating and acknowledging the transformative work of Black Canadians and their communities. For those that don't know me, my name is Doug Taylor. I'm the chair of the Education Committee. I'll be your host for this evening. I'm hosting this webinar from my home here in Durham Region. I'd like to acknowledge that Durham Region is located on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation. We thank the First Nations people who lived and live in these lands for sharing them with us in peace. Okay, before we begin, I'd like to start with some housekeeping. So tonight, for the first time in our history, OPA proudly supports Black History Month. In addition, this evening's CPD is entirely interactive. So our panelists are excited to join in a dialogue with you as we honor the contribution of Black Canadians. Please kindly post any questions you have for the panel into the chat window. I'd also ask that you please take a few minutes to provide the Education Committee with your feedback by completing our post-CPD survey. Your feedback helps the committee improve on delivering valuable services to our membership. Following tonight's live presentation, we will also provide additional resources from this CPD on our learning and professional development portal at opau.ca. So I'll now briefly introduce the panel. First up is Arlene Huggins. So Arlene is a partner at Koski Minsky LLP and the head of the firm's employment law group. Arlene's expertise lies in employment law, in human rights, commercial litigation, mortgage enforcement, and litigation, commercial leasing litigation, and real estate litigation. She has extensive experience drafting and negotiating complex employment contracts and related documents, including non-solicitation and non-competition agreements and shareholder agreements for employers and executives. She also represents both the employer and employees in disability claims in the area of human rights. She's also experienced in investigating workplace harassment allegations and related matters. Arlene's commercial leasing, mortgage, and real estate litigation practice, with a particular emphasis on beneficial ownership interests, includes both the resolution of disputes as well as litigating at various court levels, including the Ontario Superior Court of Justice, the Divisional Court, the Court of Appeal, and administrative tribunals. Arlene is a regular speaker for the Ontario Bar Association, the Law Society of Ontario, Osgoode Hall Professional Development, and others, including presenting a variety of seminars on employment law, human rights, and civil matters. She has authored various topical articles and papers in her areas of expertise, including taxing issues, which relates to CRA rules in the context of wrongful terminations, fixed-term employment contracts, severance, and the disabled employee, and drug and alcohol testing. Arlene is an experienced practitioner who is well respected by clients and lawyers for her legal expertise and practical resolution of complex legal issues. Her clients include private corporations in a variety of industries, pension and trust funds, disability plans, non-for-profit organizations, and individual employees. Arlene is also a 2020 Law Society of Ontario Medal recipient and is recognized as a leader in the legal profession who has been instrumental in advocating for inclusiveness for racialized women, lawyers, and students in law. Our next panelist is Deborah Mariah. Deborah is a Toronto area paralegal and one of the founding members and directors of the Ontario Association of Black Paralegals. She was licensed by the Law Society of Ontario in 2016 and opened her practice in 2018. Deborah has worked in several areas of law, including immigration, small claims, social justice tribunals. So that's the human rights, the social benefits, criminal injuries compensation, a few examples, and also consumer protection. She holds a degree in professional writing and communication studies from York. In 2020, she organized a group of Black legal professionals to create OABP, an association committed to providing improved and increased access to justice to BIPOC Ontarians, helping Black legal professionals navigate systemic discrimination and educating all legal professionals on the importance of recognizing, denouncing, and combating systemic discrimination in the justice system. Deborah was recommended by the Law Society of Ontario and appointed by the Minister of the Attorney General. The Ministry of the Attorney General to the Legal Aid Board of Directors in 2021 for a 2-year term. Our next panelist is Karima Syed. Karima is a Toronto-based lawyer whose practice focuses on housing, criminal, and cannabis law. She represents landlords and tenants at the tribunal and at court level. She is the executive director of NORML, NORML Canada, a national nonprofit organization that aims to eliminate all civil and criminal penalties for private cannabis use. She is an instructor at Seneca College, where she developed the course Cannabis Law and Ethics. An educator at heart, Karima is frequently called upon by the media as a trusted source for their news stories. Her cases and legal commentary have been featured in reputable media outlets, including Associated Press, BNN, Bloomberg, CBC, Canadian Lawyer, City TV, News Toronto, CP24, CTV, Global Toronto, Globe and Mail, Law Times, Toronto Star, and Vice News. In December of 2019, the Canadian Law Blog Awards recognized Karima in the, quote, Best Innovative Projects, unquote, category for demonstrating creativity and outside-the-box thinking in a notoriously risk-adverse profession. Her award-winning Landlord and Tenant 101 comic series is also available in French, Spanish, German, and Russian. Community engagement is important and is an important part of Karima's approach to practicing law. She hosts monthly free legal information sessions to educate people about their rights and responsibilities. She's part of the board of advisors at Legal Line, a federal non-for-profit organization providing access to Canadian laws since 1993. Karima combines her passion for law, art, and politics by producing comics. She offers incisive commentary about current issues and events, and her collection can be viewed at karmarules.com, and we will post that for all the attendees in our post material as well. And our next panelist is Khalda Salah. Khalda is a community legal worker at Black Legal Action Center and holds a master's from UBC in gender, race, sexuality, and social justice. Her thesis was institutionalized activism and politicized NGOs, the state's engagement with NGOs in Sudan. She is from Sudan and grew up largely in diaspora. And pardon me if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. She's interested in humanitarian work, specifically in Sudan and Africa generally, while also emphasizing and debating its ethics and boundaries. Khalda contributes to studies and literature on opposition, oppression in Sudan, noting the lack of diversity in the knowledge that is available and accessible. Her research is focused on NGOs and political activism in Sudan, and it explores the ways in which government policy and international donor funding have impacted the political landscape through NGOs. Broadly, Khalda is interested in all issues relating to Africa and the Middle East, and specifically the role of changing global economies and politics on individuals and communities. I'm also joined this evening by my colleagues and my education committee volunteers, Saida Bowen, and Claudine Thompson. So Saida and Claudine will be the moderators for this evening. They'll be presenting your pre-submitted questions along with the live questions from the chat window to our panelists. And so with that, I will now turn over the presentation to Saida and Claudine. Thank you so much, both of you, Saida and Claudine. Fantastic. I learned so much, and I could probably go another 6 hours, but we must wrap up. So this will actually conclude the evening's OPA CPD Series presentation. So again, the title for this presentation was The Future's Now. And we're celebrating and acknowledging the transformative work of all Black Canadians and their communities. The OPA supports Black History Month, so it's as George suggests, it's not just 1 month. It's definitely an ongoing initiative. I want to thank all the members on the panel for their participation and giving up time away from your family to come and spend with us on this very important topic. I'd also like to thank all our members for their participation. So just as a note, this CPD is not yet accredited. So the Education Committee will provide more information about the LSO accreditation, the accompanying certificate, and the additional reference material as well from tonight's CPD. So if you visit our Learning and Professional Development portal at opa.ca, we'll have all the latest news and announcements from the Education Committee in addition to the resources from tonight's CPD. There were a number of questions we did not get to in the chat, and the panel has been gracious enough to extend themselves. And so we will provide those resources to the members that they could reach out and continue this dialogue on. I thank everybody again for their participation. And just a reminder, please take a few minutes to fill out the feedback survey so that we can help, as the Education Committee, help improve delivery of services to the membership. And you can always visit our learning website at opu.ca as well to provide feedback there. So again, thank you to all the panelists for taking the time. It's been incredibly instructive and informative, and I've really enjoyed it. Good night, everyone. Stay safe.